Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and in this video, I'm going to share some information with you on one of my favorite magical little plants, and that is dandelion. Now, dandelion is originally from Europe and Asia, and as people started settling around the world, and in particular across the United States, they brought dandelion with them because it has been well known for centuries as such a highly medicinal plant as well as an important nutrition for our food and consumption. So people have been using this for centuries. Now, the cool thing about dandelion is that it's not only easy to grow, it's hard not to grow, as many people know. In fact, if you look at all of the lawns just across the United States, all the grass that grows, that we cultivate and we grow and we pamper and we trim, and it's to our chagrin that dandelions pop up everywhere in our grass. So this to me is a sign from Mother Nature that this is such an important part of human health that it would be to our benefit to learn to embrace and love dandelion rather than to just pull it off and spray, dig up the roots. Now, if you're going to be digging up roots of a dandelion and you know it's a place that's not been sprayed and it's a really clean source, then the dandelion roots are packed full. So if you need to remove plants from places that you don't want them, this is a really good opportunity to learn how to make your own dandelion tinctures, salves, tea, and put them in your food as well. This is one of the things that I really love about dandelion. So I found some really magical folklore that I'm excited to share with you. But first I want to cover a list of some of the amazing health benefits of the dandelion, which many of you, if you're watching this, are probably familiar with because you have probably incorporated dandelion in some way, shape, or form, just like I have. So it supports digestion by stimulating your digestive juices. So if you think about what dandelion root does for your liver, it's really, really good to detox, to support, to nourish, to stimulate, to protect. In fact, I know many people that when they first start looking for something to really help their liver, because our liver works so hard for us, they run across dandelion root. And I would say my two favorite herbs for the liver is dandelion and milk thistle. And we do make a really, really beautiful product called Liver Love that has both of those herbs in it, along with some other really, really beautifully supportive herbs for your liver and your gallbladder. So great and beautiful for digestion. It acts as a gentle diuretic, so that helps maintain healthy fluid balance. So really, really amazing for your kidneys as well. It's rich in antioxidants and it provides some really great vitamins and minerals. So vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, plus it's high in minerals like potassium and calcium. So this is one thing that I have researched because if you're looking for a good diuretic, dandelion is one of those plants that will provide all the minerals as well as helping clear fluids out of your body if you need a good diuretic. So I know that I've had members of my family, other friends that have gone on a prescription diuretic, and it not only helps clear fluids out, it also strips your body of all the minerals. So I would say that this is one of those plants that is so perfectly balanced by Mother Nature and not only supports removing excess fluids, but it provides all of the minerals and the vitamins that your body needs to stay healthy. So that's one of the beautiful things about Mother Nature. It also contains prebiotic fibers. So if you're going to be especially doing the leaves, not only does it give you all those benefits, it helps nourish your beneficial gut bacteria, which we know a lot of these super greens do that. And I consider dandelion root a powerful, powerful super green. And I know many people think exactly the same way, especially if you've looked into what does Mother Nature provide compared to what processed food provides. And hands down, Mother Nature wins every single time, right? So it also can help with inflammation. And because it is so good for cleansing your organs, it's really, really good for skin health. In fact, one of the favorite things that I like to do is take the fresh flowers, make a salve. So make an oil, infuse dandelion flowers into an oil, And then after about 4 to 6 weeks, filter the flowers off, and I'm left with this beautiful, beautiful, rich golden yellow color of a salve or of oil. And then I'll add it into a salve that might have coconut oil, a little bit of beeswax, a little bit of vitamin E, will act as a preservative. And then it's really, really good, not just for skin health, but also for inflammation. So adding dandelion flower oil to a salve, along with maybe something like cayenne pepper, which is also good for inflammation and pain and all the things. It's so fun to play around with these different natural plants and infuse them into an oil, put them into a tincture, make them into a tea, add them to your food. The world changes completely when you learn how to harvest things that just grow so much we almost have to be frustrated when they grow all over our yard. So let's kind of swap that. Let's swap our mindset and go back to the way humans have been taking care of ourselves for centuries, especially when it comes to something like dandelion, right? It also encourages the detoxification pathways. So if you think about the things that detox you, your skin is a detoxification pathway. Think about when you sweat, okay? Your liver, your kidneys, all of these organs, your elimination system. Since it's good for digestion, think about how important it is that you have a really clean, smooth digestion, which includes elimination, okay? It's good for your immune system because of its powerful antioxidants. It's good for ease bloating or a sluggish digestion. It also contains so many nutrients that it's good for your overall wellness and vitality, which to me, all of these things, and then one more thing I wrote here is that the root contains inulin, which is really good for healthy bowel regularity. So think about that. So I think it's one of those plants that when you start learning about it, there's no reason not to add, say, a cup of dandelion root tea every day to your routine. I am a big tea lover, and I'll put a link to my favorite place where I get my teas in bulk because I do drink so much tea. It's really important to me that it's an organic source, and I'll put a link down to place where I've been getting tea for probably 20 years when I'm not making my own. So I do make my own, but it's a lot more rare because it is a little bit time consuming to make your own herbal remedies. And I do a ton of oils that are infused with herbs, and then I do a lot of tinctures. So teas is just something that I conveniently purchased from another company. But this is one of those things I think when you start learning about it, it becomes literally a no-brainer. Now, it's interesting because I would say the most important thing about harvesting dandelion, whether they're in your own yard, in a neighbor's yard, out in the wild where you're, hiking or biking, just be super careful that you're not getting it in places that are sprayed, that have a ton of pollution. I'm lucky I live on a street where almost everybody has big pieces of horse property. This is my street. And I have a pretty good sized lot, but a lot of my neighbors have great big 5-acre lots and there's horses. And so this is a place where I feel comfortable, not just harvesting the dandelions in my own yard because I have a small piece of grass in my front yard. And I think that it's important to, carefully harvest dandelion where you're very sure that it's clean, right? Okay. So what I found is this is really, really cool. I found some really magical, mystical folklore that's associated with dandelion. So I'm going to go through these, and this is how I'm going to end this because to me, we need to go back to why these plants were put on this earth and why are some of them so prolific and hard to get rid of, hard to not grow, right? We need to really think about that. There's got to be a reason. And for me, one of the reasons that dandelion keeps coming back year after year after year, no matter what you do to get rid of them, is because they're so important for human health. And they remind us of resiliency. Like think about how resilient a dandelion is. You can spray it and dig it up and then the very next week or month, there's more dandelions growing where you might not want them. So I think it's time to reframe what we think and how we feel about the beautiful dandelion, okay? So here's some really cool things I found. It's long been said that dandelion seeds carry whispers to the unseen realms. Blow on a seed head with a clear intention and the seeds become tiny messengers. each one said to deliver your wish to a waiting spirit, ancestor, or guiding force. If all the seeds lift off in one breath, the wish is believed to be especially well received. Beautiful, beautiful. In fact, of course, many of us remember and still like to appreciate as an adult blowing on a puff of a dandelion when it's turned into a beautiful puffball. And there's something magical about that. So here's another one. Some old herbalists like to say that dandelions are sun prints, left behind by the sun where it has kissed the earth most deeply. According to this lore, planting dandelions near a home strengthens warmth, optimism, and personal power. So think about that. Would you ever purposely plant dandelions by your home? Something to really think about. I actually, sometimes when I read stuff like this and I find some of this old folklore, I feel like that it's important to go back to a little bit more of a wild yard than just carefully manicured, perfectly edged and rowed. And, I know some people can't imagine their yard any differently than perfectly edged and rowed, but I do envision more and more of us realizing that our yards can become a garden of food and medicine for us. And when we purposely plant something like dandelion next to our home, warmth, optimism, and personal power. I love that. It's so beautiful. A lesser known bit of folklore claims that if you find a dandelion glowing faintly at midnight, you're standing at a thin place where the veil between worlds has softened. This glowing flower, the story goes, reveals hidden truths or lost paths if you follow them with courage. I mean, who doesn't love this, right? Oracle of Lost Things. Okay, this is beautiful. Some traditions say that you can use a dandelion stem as a divination tool. Place the hollow stem in water and ask where a lost object is. The stem bends, floats, or turns as if it's pointing the way. More mystical versions say it reveals not just lost objects, but lost hopes as well. I think some of these things are just so magical and so beautiful. This is the fun of being a human being. In fact, one of my favorite things growing up, my parents encouraged reading like crazy. We always had tons and tons and tons of books, and we had a daily ritual of not just reading. We'd all get our favorite book and we would read, but every week we would go to the library, and my favorite were fairy tales and folklore, and for all my years as a grade schooler, those were my favorite, was all of the fairy tales, and always plants were part of it. Now thinking about it, like every single thing and every single book that I would read that was magical, mystical, fairy tales, there was always something about plants. So there's a purpose. Travelers once carried dried dandelion heads as talismans. The direction the seeds blew when the wanderer gently tapped the head was interpreted as a sign of which path would be the safest or most transformative to follow. And here's another one. Because the dandelion passes through such distinct forms, the leaf rosette, the golden bloom, the white globe of seeds, old storytellers believed it symbolized shape-shifting, adaptability, and hidden talents. Some tales say it can help reveal a person's second nature, the talents that they haven't yet discovered. How beautiful. And a couple more. A bit of folklore says that the dandelion roots record everything that happens on the land above them. According to this tale, a tea made from the very old roots helps to hear what the earth remembers, stories, warnings, blessings, even secrets that were buried long ago. And then one more. A whimsical bit of folklore says that when a person is caught between choices, the dandelion flower becomes their symbolic guide. Golden blossoms represent clarity. White seed heads represent possibility. The tale suggests that those who follow the white path will find adventure, while those who choose the gold will find peace. So what I would say is take some of this magical, mystical, beautiful folklore from centuries of use of dandelion. Let that kind of wash over you with just a remembering that we are connected and a piece of Mother Nature. And for so many years, we have been nourishing ourselves, helping ourselves get well with these gifts that are just here for us. And then think about all the easy ways that you can incorporate something like this into your life. And with modern technology, with modern availability for just picking up dandelion root tea off of a shelf, voila, you have it. You can even get dandelion leaves in a grocery store. So these gifts from Mother Nature can be very, very easy for us to get as modern humans. So I'd love to know what you think about dandelion. Is this something that you curse every year? You have to dig it up out of your yard? Or is it something that maybe you're going to swap your mindset and think, this is something that I can benefit from, nourish myself, become vibrantly healthy, and get a little closer to the way humans are supposed to take care of ourselves. So thanks for tuning in today, guys, and we will see you in the next one.